Hello, my name is Brant Hunt. Today is the 27th day of July, 2021, and I just wanted to share with you my adventures today in the fictitious world. It's not all bad, folks. It's not all bad. So, so I noticed that the from yesterday I worked for somebody, and he was there, and we were talking, and he was quietly concerned about the delta, whatever that is. That'll tell you how much out of loop I am about what's going on, because I know that I cannot get anything airborne. That if I get sick, the reason why I get sick is because my body is defending itself, rightfully so, and so I will get a fever or something of that nature to eliminate the toxics in my body. That's the only reason why I get sick. You don't get sick from germs, folks. If you did, guess what? You'd be dead. In fact, you'd be dead before you're born. So this whole idea that people believe that simply they're going to get sick or whatever, they are manifesting, they're creating their own hell. So, so I ventured into Walmart today, and they are promoting, I would call their, this seems to be their program. And I've shared this with another lady friend I have, that there's a different type of message in the this deal than it was before. And actually, there is a banner when you go through the door of Walmart. That and they don't even say in the near future. They're basically already beginning to share what they're going to promote. And their promotion is simply this: if you haven't had your shot, you're not going to be allowed to shop here, and you're going to be probably will be what I call that you'll have to show your papers that you have been vaccinated. Okay, so they're already putting those words out, and that is not what I understand from the local officials here, because the mask is not in protocol right now where I live at. So what I mean by that, if people want to wear their masks, they can wear it. So So that was what transpired in Walmart. I did notice today, as I was venturing out, that there are more people putting back on masks. It's amazing what fear porn can do, and so people are moving in that direction again. And so I did that, and I got some. I went by and got what I needed today at Walmart, and then went and got gas, and then I ventured to see if I could get a haircut. I haven't had a haircut in it's been at least 2 months, maybe a little longer. And so I went in and had no mask on, and no one else had a mask on where I went to get my hair cut. So that tells me simply is that the protocols in the town, such and such, are lifted here where I'm at, even with the area of issue of cutting hair. So the surprise was simply is they've gone. I was talking to a lady there that cut my hair, and she says, and I remember paying what I paid for my haircut, which was $14 last time, and this time it's $16. And she gave me a discount, which the lady did. The lady before me gave me a discount since I'm older. So the regular price now of a haircut is $18. So I'm going to have to venture out here, and I guess going to have to buy something to actually teach myself how I can cut my hair. But the hard part is going to be cutting back in the back part. But this is probably going to be it for me in the area of going out and getting my hair cut. So that was the tally, which I was great. It's great not to have to wear a mask. And I talked to the lady quite a little bit. They stayed pretty much busy, and she gave me a $2 discount, which is fine. But this will probably be the last time. $16 to me is a lot of money for basically a 10 to 15-minute haircut. And I asked her simply, as I asked her question simply, do you get an increase in wages? She said no. So they've gone up twice this year. And I'm trying to think of the place, what it's called, and I can't think of it. Let me see if I can recollect what the name of the company is that did it. I used to go to another place until he shot his prices up from basically $15 to $21 back last year. So the name of the place is called, let's see if it called Great Clips is what it's called. So they have 2 locations here in Aiken. So we'll see how that works. Let's see what else took place today. After that I came home and then went to the chiropractor. The chiropractor I go to is probably the only one spiritually aware that I've actually run into. Until last week, I ran into a teller at the bank teller, and talked to her for probably 30 minutes and shared with her. I did go by the bank yesterday where she works, but she was not there. So it was kind of a disappointment because I was hoping to get some feedback from what she had read or what she thought about what the authors I suggested to read. She seemed to be interested, but we don't know. People can change their minds. So we talked, me and the chiropractor. He's well aware of what's going on. You just don't find many people you run into. We hug one another. That's something we do. We're not afraid of getting something from somebody else, and I'm not going to live in fear in that particular perspective. So my hope is that we live in a fictitious world, and what does that really mean? Well, reality is no longer reality. No one takes. We have been taught in our lives to look at things simply as this is reality, when it's not. It's not even close to reality. And we've been done that way, in a way simply is to seduce us. And I've shared this the other day, a couple of days ago, how they're so clever. They've known this for a long time. As kids to teachers, they come along and they give us these blocks and such. And if you've seen what I posted, you can understand what I'm sharing. Is that we're taught how to differential which things are there. So the colors and everything, we're there to judge and criticize and see certain things and what's the differences between the blocks, the numbers, whatever the colors, whatever it is, to at an early age that not 1 year old, but actually a 5 or 6 year old kid. So they've been very clever in that. And I don't think I shared this, but why would you have the government doing your education? That's a legitimate question. And if you want to chime in, you're welcome to chime in. I don't get many people who sometimes watch me that is live, but if you want to ask a question, I'll try to answer it. But tell me, why does the government have to be involved in education? And if we look back in the past, simply is here, and even in this country, there was 3 ways of teaching your children. Either you had some money, and you had some books, and what I mean by money, you had more than just the Bible, which most people learn how to read English was through the Bible. That's how they learned to read and probably write, and also pronunciation. That's how it was taught, although pronunciation was probably a little bit of a given. And so that was one way. The other way was you had a tutor. If you were well off enough, you had a tutor. You had a private tutor who taught you, and it didn't have to be private. It could actually have been a group of boys, which was usually the way it worked. Sorry, girls, it didn't, he was kind of left out. Usually the boys are the ones that got the education. There was, I don't remember a school that actually was doing that for girls. It doesn't mean it doesn't one out there here in our early history of this country. And the other one was what we call some type of religious school, but basically that's Catholic, what we call a Catholic parochial system. And they would be some way of actually teaching you to read, write, and to think on your own. So those are the three ways we will look at how education was done before this whole modern phenomenon took place with the government being involved. Because government doesn't have a business. They don't have a business to be involved in education. They don't. And their idea, their selling deal here is to say, well, we're paying for it. No, you're not. We are. So it's not a free education. See, this is another misnomer that they do to you. Well, it's free. No, it's not. You pay for it by your taxes. So that's how it takes place. So I kind of just want to share with that simply is that government schooling is not, in fact, government schooling is basically what I would call getting the bottom line. It's not actually a way to give an advanced student to help him out. If you have a son or daughter who's got a noggin up here can think, or you feel that they can think, you don't send them to public schools. You send them to a private school. Okay. So anyway, back to the whole story with my friend at the chiropractor. He's always been helpful to me. I had some issues many years ago with my back. And I believe in him. He's a good man. He's younger than me. He's married. He's got a couple of kids, boy and girl. In fact, the boy is probably going to be graduating the next year, and so be going to college. Is what he talked about last time. Not this time, but last time. And he's running a business. He's running a business, and I haven't met anybody else that knows what he knows, and he knows what's going on. And this is the only way. This is how it works with me. My dad ran a business, and I worked in it, and I discover all kinds of things that the government does that makes your life hard for you. You see, and how they're not such good people. You're threatening you or whatever. And you pay if you're in the city, you pay a business license, which we did. And usually it's $300 or $400, maybe more than that now. They didn't do a damn thing for you. They didn't do a damn thing for you. They just collect the money, you see. You are such and such. So let's go a little longer here. So, because this is key for people to taking back their power, for you to understand this. You don't need to register in a county. So if you want to run a business, your business doesn't need to have a license, and it doesn't have to register in the county. Now, in the city, it's a different ballgame, because the cities are, what are they? Think about it. I've shared this before. They're a corporation. They're incorporated. That's right. They're incorporated. Certain cities where I live are unincorporated, or whatever you want to call it, and incorporated. Incorporated means simply is they got some type of mayor, city council, whatever, and they have city taxes to basically collect money to pick up garbage and whatnot. Okay. So you pay extra for a couple little things. You have supposedly a police department that is for the residents. So why do you register to do these things? And well, people do it because simply it's what everybody always does, but they never ask themselves why. Why do you volunteer to be a slave? You see. So my point simply is that if you can run a business out of your house, it's to your go for it. The problem simply is that, people get caught up in this thing because, see, I got my hair cut today, but cosmetologists have to have a license to cut hair. Just to cut hair, they have to have a license. So this is how they control you. This has got to stop. We've got to start something what I call a system that works. And I don't mean a system, but anti-system is saying simply, I don't need someone to cut my hair or whatever to have a license. I go to someone who actually cuts my hair, does it right for affordable price. That's all. I don't need anything else. She doesn't need a license. You see, this is all phoningism, folks. This is a fictitious world they're created here, and it benefits them, not you and me. It's time for you to start asking some questions. Why the hell am I being taxed on everything? Why the hell did I have to pay for taxes here and there? I'm taxed on gas. Now, here in South Carolina, there's no food tax. The gas taxes here at one time in South Carolina were the cheapest in the country. I think they were 14 cents or 12 cents a gallon. They've gone up since then. It's probably 22 to 24 cents now. And they collect this money, and they're not doing anything with it. This is supposedly their promise was to build roads. But my state here can't balance a budget. All your states out there, basically, folks, don't balance their budget. Got a problem here, folks, with that. We got a real problem with that. You fuckers that don't know how to balance your checkbooks. And I'm sorry I feel that way, but that's the truth. You idiots out there who so-called manage our governments or whatever are a bunch of punks. You can balance the budget. This is the state level. And now they're supposed to balance the budget, but they keep things off the budget. Aren't they clever, aren't they, here in South Carolina? There's more power here in the legislation than there is the governor. I have a little problem with that. I don't think the governor should have all the power, but I sure don't think the legislator who sit there and get elected all the time and quote unquote, guess what, collect money. Now, they don't make money in being a politician except when they do their things for other business people or collect taxes for themselves. And if they've been there long enough, they control different particular agencies, groups within the legislations that they're now the king of the pile here. And that's Republicans, folks. That's not Democrats. I live in a state that's heavily Republican. And I don't know how long that's going to last, because if they can't balance the budget here, and they haven't done it for a long time, it might be time for somebody else to move in. But I don't recommend the Democrats neither. I would think the best thing to do is just to eliminate the whole group. Don't even have a government. That's just self-government ourselves. But most people are not aware of that. They don't want to move in that area because they don't want to take responsibility and be accountable. You see. And we all worship government. That's another problem. We worship government. We actually, as someone shared today, is that there is a lake here about 40 miles north of me, 45 miles away from me, maybe a little longer. And at one time, it was called Clark Hill. That's what it was called, Clark Hill. See, on the South Carolina-Georgia border here, where the Savannah River is. And the lake was created based upon a dam. A dam backed up such and such to produce power, electricity. And it had been called Clark Hill for a long, long time. Been that way since, day one. This is a hill in this area. And it's called Clark Hill. Well, lo and behold, we had a senator here who served the longest of any senator I know of, and that was Strom Thurmond. And Strom Thurmond was a Democrat at first. He became a Dixiecrat for a little while. Then he became a Republican. He changed parties quite a bit. He knew how to deal that way. I'm not, but he was a lawyer also. The one thing that really disgusts me is a lawyer. They're the bottom of the barrel, folks, because they create laws to make you criminals. When Jesus made it very clear, all you need to do is do unto others as you would like to be done to yourself. We've kind of gotten away from the golden rule, haven't we? And we really got a mess, you see. So there's, I'm not saying that Jesus was anti-government. I'm just saying simply is that he understood the whole deal, simply to sum it up. And if you're not doing that, get out of the way. So, this whole thing is going to sink, folks. It's going to come apart. The wheels are going to come off here in the United States. There's no way this country is going to continue to survive the way it is going. We don't produce anything anymore. We buy everything. So we're not only now buying things from China and everywhere else, we're dependent upon other countries, which makes us a slave. We're already slaves as it is, but we're now becoming bigger. We're not in control of our own destiny, financially. And that was all part of what we call at first in this country to have what we call import tax and export taxes. And the simple thing, a remedy was simply as you tax the products that came into the country, we call import tax, for one reason. Well, two reasons. Well, it's to collect money for the government. That was a tax. Two was simply is to protect your industry, either industry, farming, or timber business, or fishing business. And I'm trying to think of the last one. Let's see, farming, mining industry. Those are the five economic ways to make money in a capitalistic society. And import tax was to protect these groups, so to speak. So you had the mining industry, you had the timber industry, you had the fishing industry, you had the forest industry, wood, timber, whatever. And you had the farming, and you had the manufacturing. I think I forgot one. So there are five of them. You made something, you see. And we've forgotten how to do those things because we don't teach kids anymore. We don't have what you call entrepreneurship. We don't teach people come in at the bottom floor and work your way up, you see. That's no longer the American way. So I'm kind of diatribe here, but the point simply is that I think this all had to do with the gasoline tax. But anyway, point is that you come to the recognition simply is that everything's taxed in your country. And so I ventured out today to do some things, and I had been thinking about it for quite a while. And that was to do with what I would call trying to find a long form birth certificate with my mother's name on it. So the lady told me such and such, and I got the form, just a piece of paper, and you go in the trash because it's totally worthless. But anyway, I don't have it right in front of me. I was looking for what I call a raised deal. There's no raised deal. And my understanding when she was talking to me, they'll mail it to you. So the lady lied to me. Very clever. I told her I wanted the signature of it, a live birth, and a long form. And it's neither one of these things. And it was $12 for that piece of paper. Totally worthless. So we got to figure out that whole idea, the whole process. And then I decided I'd go to the county building here in Aiken, and I took a picture of that. And I'll have to show that later to you. But I wanted to share something because I just about forgot about this. But it's important for you to understand this. Actually, let me just read something here real quick, okay? This is from the Black's Law Dictionary. This is the 5th edition, if you can see that here. Got it used. It's a hardback book. It's roughly probably 2.5 inches thick, maybe. And so let's see what a birth certificate is. This is their definition at first, and it says birth certificate. A formal document which certifies as to the date and place of one's birth and a recitation of his or her parentage, in other words, who are your parents, issued by its official in charge of such records. Furnishing of such is often required to prove one's age. Okay, but part of it's the reason why is simply is I know that my birth certificate is on the stock exchange, and so they have created me as a fictional straw man here, and I don't like it, you see. So that's one of the things I did. The first thing I did at the DHEC is called here in South Carolina. It's called the Department of Health Environmental Control, I think it's called. It's a clever way. And I don't even know if these people are employed by the state or county or if it's a company doing the business. I believe it's a company. some corporation behind it employing these people. So what I got was a printout sheet, saying I had a birth certificate. And they don't even furnish the time. They don't furnish that. I already knew all this information. So, but anyway. So I visit the county administration building here, which is another Ephesus. In other words, it's a huge building for approximately 170,000, 180,000 people that live in this county. Aiken County is probably the top 10 or maybe less than that, maybe 9 or 8 county in the state population-wise. I think that Richland County and Greenville County are probably the most popular population deal. So I said, okay, let's ask the question about, which is when I study something, I looked into this particular book here, which is by the Informer. And it talks about simply is that allodial title. That's right, allodium. So I went there, and I knew that basically they wouldn't know what I was talking about, and they didn't. And, this is people get played, such and such. He said, you don't really find anybody. I first went in the area where you pay the taxes. Then I went elsewhere, and I was told to go such and such, where all the records are. Okay. I don't know why. That's another question for me is simply why is it these birth records supposed to have to be at a state level instead of a county level? But probably because they're afraid that they might burn down. I do know one thing I learned today. Birth certificates records were started, I think, in 1901 here in South Carolina, 1900 or 1901. So I did learn something while I was there. I also met a young gentleman there, a black gentleman, and tried to explain to him what was going on and how we got ourselves in this fix. And I explained to him that we're all slaves. It didn't matter what color your skin you are, if you're male or female, you're all slaves in this country. Because I want him to know simply is that we are all equal. We're all in a sinking ship here, folks. Okay, so we need to forget this whole color issue because that's just another way of dividing us. So back to the area of the Aiken County deal, which is where you pay property tax, where I pay property tax, where my name is in all capital letters. My name is in capital letters in my birth certificate. You see, my name's in capital letters on my driver's license. My name's on the capital letters in the credit cards. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure this out, folks. It's your straw man. You see? So let's go with this whole issue of allodio and allodium. Okay? Allodio means free, not holding of any lord or superior. Own without obligation of vastus or fidei. The opposite of feudal. Did you hear me correctly here? It says the opposite of feudal. Well, folks, we haven't changed since then. The Magna Carta, we're told by our quote-unquote government schools, that's when we became free. Baloney. That's when we became all slaves. Now let's look at the word allodium. Land held absolutely in one's own right, and not of any lord or superior. Land not subject to feudal duties or burdens. An estate held by absolute ownership, without recognizing any superior to whom any duty is due on account thereof. So, folks, we're all slaves. If you own anything, in fact, someone said this a long time ago to me. It says, if you own anything, you're going to have to be taxed. If you don't own anything, you wouldn't have to pay tax, supposedly. But if you're living in a house, what they're saying simply is you're a renter, you don't have to pay these fees. Well, you do. You pay for them. You pay for them in a different way. The guy's renting to you is going to charge you for the tax one way or the other by renting to you by a monthly deal. So what I wanted to share with you, and I don't want I've gone talking here for like 30 minutes, but when I did share with this gentleman, I was hoping he was ahead of me. I actually let him go ahead of me because I wanted to read all the paperwork that I needed to fill out, which was only a page. And I just let him go first because, and he didn't know where to go. And so I showed him where to go. I'm just trying to sow seeds, just trying to help people see the truth little by little, as they say, by Robert Plant. And that's why I put these songs up here on my Facebook page for a reason, folks. There are certain ways I see these songs are saying some type of message. And little by little simply is that this system that's been on us is going to fall. Little by little, you're going to fall, folks. And whoever you are, your day is coming. And it's as simple as that. Now, you may get away with it. You may think, maybe you will. But it's just enough of this crap is going on. Enough of it. You see, you're lying. You deceived us. You were given everything, especially you, the priestcraft. You were given everything, the truth. And you forfeit that right to rule over us because you lied to the people. You created your own Godhead, your own belief system to cause people to lose their ability to be free and use fear against them. And I don't know anything except karma's got to come and get you somehow. I don't know how it works. There's got to be somehow to bother you. And you let me talk, and you're going to let me share these things because simply if you don't, karma's going to deal with you. Because I do know that. Because I'm telling the truth. You follow me? It's the truth. And truth doesn't have to be backed by anybody at all. It's there, and it's self-sustaining. It tells you what's true, and we're living in a false world here, folks. It's all false. So, that was basically what my day was like. Who would believe? I'm thinking to myself here. Now let me explain this. Go back to the haircut deal. I remember paying a good price and having a lady cut my hair, and she would shampoo my hair, and she'd blow dry my hair. That was back in the 90s. I think I paid $12 or $14 for that. So she would wash my hair, she would cut my hair, and then she would dry it and style it for me. That's when I had more hair too. You see, that was a critical thing for us guys back then. But now I just get a haircut, and it's $16. Which is the only reason why I got that is because I opened up my mouth and said, before I get my hair cut, I want to know how much I'm paying for it. You see. So, she wasn't the blame. I'm not blaming her. She's got to eat just like all of us, such and such. That's important for us to simply, eventually, to break free from the system. We have to come up with a better system than what they're selling us because it's a broken system. And I'll say one last word here. It really is somewhat discouraging what I see, but that doesn't keep me. That means I'm just more determined. I'm going to find the truth. You see, and I have a library here, certain books that are political, foreign policy, psychological issues, spiritual issues, because I'm seeking the truth. I'm making it. I'm telling the universe, the creator out there, I want the truth. I'm looking for it. And I'm going to manifest it. So that's what I'm putting in the dues, as they just say. And that's what you should be doing too. And so I've been blessed in many ways, unlike most people. And yes, I didn't volunteer to quote unquote to take the census. And no one's going to vaccinate me at all, period. No negative at all. This is my body. You don't have any business in it. And I know the rules and I understand what's going on here. And it's all a fear porn world to destroy who you are. So I appreciate you listening. And I hope you understand that my voice tonight is a little different than normal. Maybe I come across today a little aggravated, and I am somewhat. But I will continue to look for the needle under the haystack, folks, because I'm going to find it. Thank you. You have a good evening.